Welcome to race school here at Virginia International Raceway. But it's not just any race school. This is the Skip Barber Racing 3-day Formula race schools, where they're going to be putting me through my paces to find out if I've got what it takes to be a racing driver. Now, if you've not heard of Skip Barber Racing before, you've definitely heard of their alumni. Over 400,000 graduates have gone through this program and become either champions or racing drivers. People like Danica Patrick, Joseph Newgarden, Sergio Perez, and Juan Pablo Montoya. So over the next 3 days, I'm going to be learning how to jump into my first single-seater and be actually competitive. Now, I've definitely not done anything like this before, so this is going to be completely brand new for me. I am a little bit nervous, not gonna lie, and I'm also super competitive, so if I'm terrible, it's gonna be probably, the end of my career. So let's see how we get on, but this is gonna be my machinery for the next 3 days. So this is day one. Nerves are probably going to be at their highest because I really don't know what to expect. It's going to be broken down into basically understanding the foundations of racing today. So a little bit about car control, racing line, and then actually understanding how the Formula 4 car works. Because pretty much none of us in the class have ever gone anywhere near a Formula car. So I think that's definitely for me the bit that is the most intimidating. Just making sure you don't get anything wrong, right? And genuinely, to be competitive, I don't want to be the slowest person out on track, even if today is just kind of a bit of practice before we get into the meaty stuff in the next 2 days. But it's time for class, so I'm going to head in. So because I'm small and these cars don't really adjust, we've got some rather advanced padding going on, which is basically there to push my hips forward. What we don't want is for my back to move too much because my head needs to be in a certain position. So we put these pads in the back of the car here and it moves my hips forward so that I can reach the pedals. Yeah, that was really good. That was really good. Like I thought I'd be way more intimidated by being in a car that definitely has way more aero, way more power, way more speed than anything I've ever driven before. But I was quite surprised how quick your body kind of adapts to that. At least mine did. I don't know if that's the same for everybody, but definitely once you kind of got over that whole initial nerve, it became really, I don't know, it's gonna sound really lame. It just felt really natural. Yeah, it felt really natural, and I can't wait to kind of go out again. I've got that adrenaline pumping now where I could see where I was going wrong. And I can't wait to talk to the coaches because I'm sure they're gonna give me a load of pointers. But just as an initial run, I feel way more confident now. I feel way more comfortable. So yeah, let's see what's next. Morning, ready for day 2 of race school. It's bright and early and I'm still got a little bit of jet lag, but I managed to get some decent sleep, which is good because we're doing way more racing today. And I can already feel it in my arms and shoulders. And we only did kind of a half day in the car yesterday. So today is going to be pretty much a full day in the car. So I better get over that and look forward to some more racing. So let's head to track.
But remember, my hardest braking should be first. And then I'm bleeding off brake pressure, approaching the turn-in phase, and then trailing off proportionate to my available grip and steering. So a lot of people kind of using the engine to try to slow the car down, like wah, wah, and then adding more brake pressure, or had done enough where they were off the brake completely at the turn-in point. Ideally, I'm getting to the turn-in point with enough energy where I need a little bit of brake pressure still. That's going to keep the nose down, load on the steering tires, and help me turn into the corner.
So, first exercise of the day is stop boxing, where we're all going to go on a siding lap to start off with, and then we're going to stop in a box that's on the main straight. And essentially after every lap we'll do the same thing. So we'll do a lap, come in, stop, and then at each stop we're going to get live feedback from one of the instructors that are positioned at different points around the track, and they're going to give us live feedback as to maybe where we're turning in too soon, maybe where we're not applying brake, where we're not taking correct racing line, if we're going in too hot, too cold. So what we're going to get is live feedback, and they're going to see how we respond to that live feedback and if we can improve our laps after a certain period of time.
Go for car number 1.
Hey Jess, this is Troy in turn 12. On the exit, you're getting some sharp input. You're like heading out towards the end, and then you're putting a harsh input in, and you're not getting all the way to the track out with it.
So rain has stopped play on day 2. It came down just as I was going out for my final session of the day. So I managed about half a lap of the final session, but can't race in these conditions. As much as they've taught us about rain racing or racing in the wet, we are not ready to be racing these Formula 4 cars when it's this damp outside. So that's it for today. A bit of an interrupted day today. We had a few spins and crashes in the opening session, which set us back a little bit. But when we were out there and did get some free running in the stop box exercise, it was, yeah, really good to get that kind of feedback in moment. And the biggest takeaway from me was with the application of braking. So making sure you're hitting the brakes hard and then bleeding off to carry the grip and the speed through the corner, and not being tempted to kind of brake too soon. So that was definitely key takeaways from me. Tomorrow it's going to be race simulations, right? We're getting into the meaty bit of the 3 days. This is going to be where we do probably the most amount of learning and maybe room for the most amount of mistakes. So tomorrow it's going to be start simulations, drafting, passing, and then open lap sessions. So no more stopping in the stop box. It's going to be free running in our group. So we've got that to look forward to tomorrow. Okay, so we've just hopped out the classroom. We've just done a session on the correct way to pass and defend. And then we're going to put it in practice once we go out on track. So there are cones set up at 2 of the corners around here, positioning to be like our opponents that we then have to pass into the braking zone. So it's a simulated overtaking experience where, yeah, we're basically going to position the car off the racing line into the braking zone and make it through. Working up slowly but surely just to build up to potentially overtaking cars out on track later on today. So Gerardo was just telling us there that this is the last session for our group. The track is hot and the grip levels are changing. It's a little bit more slippery, a little bit more polished in some areas, so we're going to have to watch our braking and our placement of the car a little bit more. And also, like, this is the last session of 3 days. So as drivers, we're all fatigued, but we're living on adrenaline, so we might not feel that fatigue as quickly, but our body will be feeling it. So we're just being told, be cautious. We don't want any more mistakes. We don't want any more spins or crashes. And we want to enjoy our last time out on track for this school. So let's head into the last session. Let's hope for a clean session. And I'm just going to go out there and enjoy every minute, because this track, honestly, is such a joy to drive. I'm actually a little bit sad that it's our last session, but that just goes to show what a great experience this is. So yeah, let's get this last session under the bag, and then we'll see what our final pointers are. Last session, definitely had the most mistakes in it from me. Kind of a bit, it's a good job that we had the talk before we went out in the cars about you're going to be fatigued, you're going to probably make mistakes, so go careful, because it was the first lockup of all 3 days that I've done. I locked up into the roller coaster section, took a really weird line and kind of went a bit sideways, but managed to keep it on the black stuff, which is good. But yeah, definitely felt my focus waning. I wasn't as smooth. The core braking zones, I think I did get okay. So I think I've had those like muscle memory into my head, or my muscles, as muscle memory would suggest. But yeah, it kind of, when I saw that checkered flag, it was really sad. I think I was definitely ready to stop because I think otherwise it would have gotten a bit dangerous. But I was definitely sad to see the checkered flag and know that that was going to be my last lap. So yeah, I mean, awesome experience. I think we're going to get a bit of feedback now later with Eric to see how we've got on. But yeah, that's all my driving all done. So amazing experience.
So Eric, firstly, thank you so much for 3 days of your wisdom and teaching us what to do and not to do out on track. So I was completely green to this. Firstly, how do you think I got on? I know that the purpose of this was not to be competitive and not to compare people, but what did you think of my skills or lack of?
Well, you were one of the few people that kept it on track, so you know.
True.
A massive plus. You did awesome, and it's very gratifying when the students apply what we teach. So, you know, we preach the fundamentals and we give you the keys to unlock those doors yourselves, and you did it at your own pace and never stepped out of your comfort zone. So it was perfect. I'm super proud of you.
I'll take that 100%. And so obviously the purpose of this is to give us the foundations,
Yep.
but what could we go on and do after this?
Well, after you have your provisional license, you would be free to go racing at a regional level.
Slightly terrifying.
Sort of on probation.
Right, got you.
And hopefully you would have a coach there to help mentor you and guide you, one of us. We can do that. But our advanced 2-day school, that's the logical next step where we continue building on that foundation.
Because we saw a couple of the guys were here doing the advanced 2-day alongside us.
Yep.
So that just sees more kind of one-on-one, or well, I guess in a smaller group, at least it was for this session, but
Yep.
also using you guys out on track as a kind of a benchmark and a bit more of a closer kind of experience with a pro racing driver.
Yeah, we get out there and we have fun with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we put you in live passing exercises. So we get you used to being in close proximity to other cars and use us as a gauge or as a benchmark to see if what you're doing is working relative to someone else live, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I could definitely get addicted to the updates. I think I was definitely one of the students that was grabbing all the coaches and going, how's that in turn 4? Because I think turn 4 was my Achilles heel a little bit. But honestly, it's been such a pleasure. It's going to be an experience I never forget. I've definitely caught the bug. So here's hoping that we'll be coming back and doing some more advanced stuff with you guys.
I hope so. You guys are awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.